All right, everyone, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you are doing okay on this fine and wonderful dandy day. It is time for our, I don't even know how often I do this, live stream of Blade Bias instead of doing it on my normal channel. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. In case you are unfamiliar, I am Blade Bias. My name is Ethan. I do live streams similar to this, not with a head-mounted camera, but with you being able to see my face. Somewhat regularly, usually when I'm not super busy, over on my main channel. So if this is something that you're interested in, go check that out. The link is always in the description, as usual. Let me get my wonderful phone over here so that we can have some chat going on. And there they are. Hello, everyone. What's up, Tony, McLean, Stitch, Evenstide, Mayo, Matt? How you guys doing? Getting a Vega. Finally got mine. Already died in Anno. The Vega looks cool. Oh, shout out YouTube for giving me an ad on my own stream. Love that. There we are. Hello, hello, people. What's up, Tanner? What's up, Floyd? What game did you vote for to win Game of the Year? Silksong. Big believer in Silksong. I have yet to play it because I'm still finishing Hollow Knight, but Hollow Knight is a phenomenal game. What's up, Hawaii? Whole state in my chat. Let's go. So, I do these, I've done this twice before, only once semi-successfully. The previous one was very bad. The quality wasn't great. Everything wasn't great. So this, I'm going to limit myself to 1 hour. Probably even less, because if my camera dies or the stream goes offline, that's pretty much just going to be it. Last time I did that, I wasn't able to get it to come back up, and I had a bunch of people waiting in chat for 10 minutes, and I just felt super bad about that. So we're going to see how long the camera lasts for. It should be about an hour. I'm going to try and keep the stream to that, but we'll see how it goes. What up, Beaver? What camera do you use? This is a DJI Pocket 2. It's the same. Wow, the Astra is just not working with me today. I think we're going to switch over to the Kraken Trainer. It is the same camera that Will used to use, and it is a generation older than the camera that Will uses currently for his Will Hirsch flips, I believe. Pretty sure that's how that goes. How's your LDY titanium kite holding up? It's holding up quite well, actually. I have it right over here. Certainly is a relic. It really does feel like the kite just kind of got swept under the rug. Same with the, let's see if I'm able to actually find this one. Fine, my case can go on my chair, my phone can go there. My case is still a mess. I still have yet to order new foam for it. These two, wow, that was cool. These two are very similar in LDY's lineup for me. They're both like relics that just kind of got abandoned. And kind of sucks. I mean, both of them ultimately became different to what we know and love them as currently. But their original versions just kind of got left in the dust. The Frank specifically, like everyone loves the Frank P, but I bet there's a good amount of people who don't even know that the original version of the Frank P was a metal balisong like this. And the original Frank does flip pretty well. I do always forget, though, that this is a live blade. So try and be a little careful with that. Need my chat back. I need you guys back. Excuse me. What happened to the case? This is literally just what happens when you take it to Blade Show. So the foam, there's like a foam layer underneath, and as people pick up balisongs, it like shifts all around. So the foam layer is pushed towards the back, bunching up in the back and pushing the back up. And then as people pull stuff out, because this is pull apart foam, the squares just fall out because people aren't very careful. And it's not their fault, I don't blame them, but they're not very careful when they pull stuff out of your case. And so it just started to look like this. Also, flying it back and forth, it got really roughed up on the plane. I just don't feel like getting a new case. Obviously, I don't want to spend $40 on a new case when I have a whole good case right here. So I do just need to order the foam, but I don't even know if I can do that. If you got the opportunity to design a balisong, what would you choose? Chinese to make it affordable or local and more expensive? I would ideally, like, I'm not interested in designing my own balisong. I've explained this in videos previously, but if I had to choose, I would honestly want to choose both of them, but I would start out with a like Nibali style Chinese made more budget friendly thing so that people can try it. Because the goal is to make something that flips to my preferences so that really anyone can pick up a balisong that I've designed and then try out my preferences and see if they like it or not. It'll be a useful tool for people to tell if they agree with my flipping style or they don't, and that will help them make their purchasing decisions. Why don't you flip your Nemesis anymore? I made a video on this. I sold it. You used to have it as your favorite trainer. Has the Superfly taken over? Yeah, the Nemesis is long gone. I sold it. It was kind of just filling up a slot in my collection. I wanted to put the money into other things. So I ended up selling it. And I mean, I miss it, but I wouldn't say that I regret selling it. Would I buy another one? Maybe. If I had like an awesome amount of disposable income. But it's gone. It is gone. And yeah, the other titanium trainers have just taken over that spot for me. Specifically, things like the Superfly or the Slift T trainer just kind of filled that gap better than the Nemesis did. I want to get a false live blade balisong. Do I have any chance of cutting me? Yeah, I mean, the tip on any false live is still sharp. And if you do go into it hard enough, I mean, it is a piece of metal that is still like thin and sharp. There's still sharp angles. There's still a tip. Obviously, it depends what live blade you're going for, because some of them are like milled to be flat. But if you're going for like a Canyon or something, I've still been kind of nicked by my Canyon before. Do you think you'll keep flipping and making content for a long time? I know I'll keep flipping for a long time. My collection has a couple of balisongs that are like my forever balisongs that I don't see myself getting rid of anytime soon. Things like the Damascus Kraken, the Slift T, even something as simple as like the cheese I will always have. But content, we'll see. I have found myself, especially recently, with just the way the world is, spending less and less time being close to the opinions of others on the internet, and just vastly prefer how peaceful it is. So we'll see how long content creation goes, but you guys will get a heads up before I quit anything. I don't foresee myself quitting anytime super soon. What's your opinion on the Teflon Vulp? It's good. I like the Teflon Vulp. I don't know why it feels so much better than the original Vulp, but it does. One of the many mysteries of our time. Slift T looks so rainbowy from this angle. Yeah, I love the way the Slift T is. So this Slift T is It's silver on the faces, but it has kind of like blue laser etching in there, and it looks really super cool. But if you can see here, inside the chamfers and inside the jimping, it's actually anode the same as the inside. So the inside of the Slift tee is a greenish to purple fade, and you can see that the chamfers here on the side of the handles also have that greenish to purple fade there. So this anode is something special, minus the fact that it was a laser pattern that they never did again. I want to get into this hobby. It would be a recommendation for my first balisong. I have a recommendation list linked in the description. Go check that out. Do you flip in public? No, I don't enjoy flipping in public. I don't enjoy the attention it brings me, good or bad. So I keep flipping to mainly a in my room or on private property kind of thing. Has your opinion on the Serif changed? Have you tried all the weight options? I definitely feel like it performs best with no weights in. I think I made a video, but I have tried all the weight options. I'm pretty sure I made a video talking about it, but the more weights I added, the less I liked the Serif, because the more it just kind of felt like any other standard slight handle bias balisong and didn't grab me as much as it did. And as soon as I took the weights, I actually stopped flipping my Serif for a little bit. I didn't flip it as much as I previously had, I should say. And then when I took the weights out, I went back to flipping it pretty constantly. I still do like the Serif. I know that is a semi-controversial opinion. It just fits my preferences almost perfectly. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. It sounds amazing. Nothing's really changed with it. I still love it. Bought a cheese for me and my stepson. Got to start him young. That sounds awesome. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know a few people who have bonded with, whether it's like their nephew or their sons or whatever, bonded with them over balisongs, and I think that that is super, super cool. Should people be upcharging more than the original price when it comes to people reselling discontinued stuff? Market, supply and demand. If there's a large demand for something with a low supply, then the price goes up. I don't think people should or shouldn't. The one thing that I do think people shouldn't do is go to Blade Show specifically with the intent of buying some rare 1 of 20 balisong and then immediately listing it for $300 more than they bought it for the same weekend. But that's just me. I mean, you do you. It's your balisong, your money. What's your opinion on balisong clones? I don't talk about clones. I prefer companies that do their own original work. So I keep clones away from my channel and my channel's identity. I have no problem with you if you choose to flip a clone, but I will not be making videos talking about them or promoting them in any way. Because, again, I want to support the people who are doing actual original work in this hobby. Think you'll go to Blade Show Texas in March? There's a very low chance. I would say almost no chance. If I ever stretch to another Blade Show besides East, it would be Blade Show West. Blade Show Texas doesn't seem all that exciting to spend the money on to go to. No offense to my Texans. I'm gonna stick it to East or make the trip for West one of these years. We'll see. Feel like I got the best beginner balisong because the first ever thing I watched was your Prisma Pro review, and it was my first bally. I'm glad. That's a really sick first balisong. I hope you enjoyed it. What's up, Viper? I'm waiting on my refault to come in, but I also have a Kite AL and a Canyon. Kind of prefer the Canyon. How do you think the refault will feel? So Kite AL is the most handle bias thing, in my opinion, there. Kite AL is the most handle bias thing there, in my opinion. Canyon's a tiny bit more neutral, but still more handle bias. Depending on what refault you got, it'll move even closer to neutral. If you got a Tonto one, it'll probably feel a little bit more neutral than the Canyon, but it also depends if you got carbon fiber or G10. They flip surprisingly different. I still see my old purple, black, and white G10 Tonto refault now and then, and it flips very differently from the carbon fiber one that I kept in my collection. Which isn't even over here because it's in my little starter case. Yeah, there it is. This thing, I won't flip it much because it'll just blend in with the carpet, but this thing is very, not very, but it's probably one of the more neutral things that you can get beginner-wise, besides something like the Orion. The Orion takes it a step further. But I like it quite a lot. What if a company makes mostly clones but has a fantastic OG design? I'm still not interested. They're still making all of their money off of stealing other people's work. So I really am kind of in the boat where I personally couldn't care less if they make an original design. But again, your mileage may vary. I don't judge anyone for buying clones. I just stay away from them on my channel. Have you looked at MachineWise recently? They got a huge update. Design is completely redone, and they relaunched the custom shop. I actually had no idea. I will make sure to check that out. Thank you. What do you think of the Vulp as a first ballad song? It's still going to be a good ballad song, but I think the Vulp is just outclassed by pretty much everything else in its price bracket at this point. The Vulp is something that just got outpaced by the likes of the Cheese, the Refault, even the Teflon Vulp at this point. It just feels better for some reason. What's the best glider belly? Probably the Pacific. Not the Pacific. What's it called? The Moab. Bloons reference. The Moab. I love that thing. Don't own one though. Just got to try it out. Is it okay to buy clones if I live in a low-income place? Again, I'm not going to tell you whether it's okay or not to buy clones. I don't care what you do with your money. Whatever your reasoning is, go for it. No judgment here. I'm just telling you how I run my channel. Do I wish I could still buy a Slifty? Me and you both, dude. Me and you both. Have you tried the new Live Blade Nautilus? I have. I tried it at Blade Show. Didn't really impress me. As usual with the Nautilus, it's just not my thing. But I know there's some people who really like it, so I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it's a bad ballad song at all. LDY, apparently LDY's owner owns BallyX, a clone company. I know nothing of what you speak of. See you, Evan Side. Have a good one. I love getting the opportunity to ask questions and you actually answering them. As long as you enjoy this kind of stream, keep doing it. That's the plan. But if you're more interested in these streams, I'll be completely honest with you guys, are a little tiny bit less enjoyable because there's no way to have like a consistent conversation. It's just a bunch of random questions in the chat, which is why I do them a little more infrequently. If you are looking for a more engaged, like flowing conversation, so to speak, my main channel streams are going to provide that way better than this will. So I do those a bit more frequently. Less people, less random questions, and more kind of focused conversation. I'm on a budget. I want to get the Teflon Vulp. Is it worth the extra money and to instead go for the Vault Pro, or should I just get a cheese? I'd say the cheese is probably a better option than the Vault Pro for me personally, but the Vault Pro, than the Teflon Vault. It's a better option than the Teflon Vault for me personally. The Vault Pro is almost double the price. So you got to decide, is it double the performance? Maybe not. It performs way better, yes, but if you're on a strict budget, I don't think you're going to lose by going with the Teflon Vault Pro cheese. How do you feel about the Opus V2? You will be able to see my opinions on that shortly-ish, hopefully. We'll see. What is the most expensive Bally that you own or have flipped? That I have flipped? One of those like crazy custom ones from Cerrone at Blade Show. That I own, probably my Seraph, but the thing that I've bought with my own money would be the Slifty. Although, unless you count like current value, then the Damascus Kraken is probably the most valuable thing in my collection. Although I genuinely don't know what that would sell for in current market times. What's up, Silas? Do you ever feel like you have too many ballad songs? Sometimes. I mean, it's really difficult to have this many things in a collection, period, and not feel like you have too many. I mean, Transformers are a little bit different because these things are displays pieces, so even if I don't pick them up and play with them, they still serve some sort of purpose. The thing with ballad songs is they kind of just sit in a case, and I feel bad about that, but I would feel worse about just immediately selling all of these things that companies send me. So I try and keep them around, and it has its pluses and minuses. I pick up a new ballad song, I'm able to go into my collection and make comparisons and talk about things, and you have a collection of older things that don't exist anymore, which is cool to have. So it's worth it, I think, for me as a YouTuber to have a big collection like that. But if it was just me flipping in my room, I would have maybe 3 or 4 ballad songs max, maybe 5, I don't know. Probably enough to fill up this custom stand over here from Oatmeal. Or should I say the flipper formerly known as Oatmeal. Do you have a dream ballad song or a ballad song that's out of price range but you wish you had? Probably a V1 Opus. In terms of things that I see for sale and I would genuinely maybe buy one day, it would probably be a V1 Opus. There's something about that thing that I love. But it really was the Seraph. Like, the Seraph kind of fulfills my dream Grail ballad song. And the Slifty. I love the Slifty sometimes even more than the Seraph for different reasons. But I don't feel that there's anything that I'm dying for that I don't have. Obviously, there's things I would love to own, like the Moab or the new Cat from Nibali's. But I'd probably say the Opus is like my current Grail V1. Do you have any other hobbies, collections besides the one you've shown on your channels? It's mostly that. Other hobbies I have include things like, formerly technology. It's a lot more difficult to be excited about technology these days because everything that everyone releases is just the same thing over again. Transformers, Lego, Hot Wheels, those are all things that I've made videos on. I would say my most recent thing is cars, which I've kind of alluded to in recent videos. I have this thing sitting over here. It's a sim racing setup that I've been trying to get into. So that would probably be my biggest hobby that you guys aren't super familiar with, that I haven't made videos on. Thomas by Call is around the same price as the Squid Trainer nowadays. Which one do you think you like more? In terms of flipping, I like the OG V1 by Call a little bit better than the Squid Trainer. But the V2 didn't impress me as much, so I would probably say the Squid Trainer over the V2. But both are good. I do love my squid trainer. Even if it is a little bit weird. Do you think the release date of a balisong should impact the value? I've seen you say the new Nibali's balisongs feel much better. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Obviously, companies will get better or worse tunes. And, like, they'll change. That's already kind of how it is. I mean, an older squid trainer is more valuable than a current squid trainer because people like the older generation of the squid trainers better. Yeah, we need a Wi-Fi connection and an account to use our new dishwasher. I am getting really fed up with technology to the point where I'm finding myself more drawn to things that are more analog, like cars that don't have touchscreens. I'm inherently more interested in. Or, gosh, I don't know. Like you said, like a dishwasher that doesn't have smart app integration. I don't know. I just don't need companies poking in every single little fiber of information that they can get just to sell it on the black market. What makes a balisong ring? So for the squid trainer, it would be this long thing down the middle. It kind of reverberates, and the frequency that it vibrates, and the frequency that it vibrates at gets sent off as sound waves. So it can be something like a tuning fork in the blade, or a lot of balisongs will have speed channels that will make them ring. Don't entirely know why speed channels make something ring over something that doesn't, but I'm assuming it just has something to do with the way that impact makes the handles vibrate a little bit more, because there is that opening there. If they made a squid trainer a live blade, what would it be called? The jester in me wants them to just keep calling it a squid trainer, but the actual, like, balisong community member would say probably just call it, like, the squid blade or something like that. The squid edge. I don't know. What's your favorite racing style? Rally, GT, Formula, Drift? Or are you just getting into cars in general? Just getting into cars in general. I enjoy watching rally. I enjoy driving just your standard, I guess that would be GT races. But really, I just like going onto a course and setting a cool lap time. I enjoy improving lap times and stuff like that. So saying that I'm into sim racing might be a little disingenuous because I don't play with other people, nor do I have a huge interest in playing with other people. I'm more into the, like, self-improvement of, okay, here's my best time on this lap. Let me try and dial in so I can beat it. Call it the Stinger. That would be interesting. What, in your opinion, flips like an Orion in the mid-range? I have no idea. The Orion is a very unique balisong to me because you have the live blade, and the live blade is a genuinely excellent flipper. I love this thing. So flips like the live blade, you're looking at some lighter aluminum live blade, maybe even something like a Regime. Even though the balance is completely off, the weight kind of feels like it's there, to me at least. But if you're talking the trainer is a genuinely strange balisong to me. I wouldn't say there's anything out there that flips exactly like it. It has this hint of just kind of strangeness to it that I can't really describe to you very accurately. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I'll have to think on that. Are you into another flow art? Not really. No flow arts. Balisong is really the main one. I'm not into kendama or yo-yo. I tried to get into yo-yo, but there's a huge space requirement with yo-yo. And something that you don't see in these videos is that I'm a short dude. I'm not particularly tall. I'm like 5'5". If I reach up, I can touch my ceiling with no issue. So it's not exactly a conducive environment for yo-yo, especially with all of my shelves and stuff around. Something would get broken almost instantly. So yo-yo didn't really stick. Kendama seems interesting, but the other flow arts, besides maybe pen spinning, but I cannot pen spin to save my life. I'm really just, I like the skill ceiling of Balisongs. I know there's a huge skill ceiling to all the other flow toys, but it seems like there's just a higher one with Balisongs. Have you tried Trackmania? Trackmania, not super into it. I did play it a little bit back in the day, but I think it's a little too arcadey for me. I do prefer the more realistic style of driving. What do you do if the cheese has tap? Try and tighten the screws. If the screws don't tighten, then I don't know. Sometimes cheaper Balisongs just get tapped the more you use them. Only ever owned a Frank P, but LDY has some quality stuff. I like LDY stuff. It's nice to have them in Nibali's. It's nice to have some Chinese companies making stuff that's always available that isn't clones. Because the one back in the day, I mean, like, not back in the day, but, 2-3 years ago, had the Alien and the Falcon. And people were like, oh, maybe they'll get more into doing more original designs, and then they just kind of didn't. But the Alien and the Falcon also kind of sucked by today's standards. Like, it was fine for back in the day, but I think to say that the Falcon or the Alien would hold a candle to today's, like, Cheese or Refault, even something like the Teflon Vault, it just mops the floor with those old guys. How's the LDY Kite versus the aluminum one? I really want to try. Yeah, they don't sell the titanium one anymore. It's not a thing that they do, unfortunately. I don't think it would even be viable to... Where's my aluminum kite at? Is that over in my starter case? Oh yeah, it is. I don't think it would be very realistic to tell you to go out and look for one on the secondhand market, because even that is going to be very difficult. The problem with some of these older Balisongs that get discontinued is that the collectors really want to hold on to them because they're rare. So only 256 of them exist. It's probably going to be pretty difficult to buy one. And even if they do go up for sale, there's no guarantee that they'll actually be the price that they sold for. So you might just be stuck with the aluminum model. You ever tried an alt blade replicant? I have flipped many different replicants. There is a lot of customization, and I think that's super cool. I do kind of miss, this is the one thing that you'll hear me say that I miss about BRS. I kind of miss those days back when I first got into the hobby. It seems like the replicant was something that only a few, like, I guess I shouldn't. The replicant was something that everyone had their own custom replicant. Kind of like in any other hobby. They have their own, everyone has their own unique car or something like that if you're into cars. Everyone had their own custom build of the replicant that they thought flipped the best. And I think that was really cool, having like a Balisong that was truly a build your own thing. And that's something that we haven't really seen maintain into modern times with the replicant especially, and even with other Balisongs. Customizability is there, but it's not a huge focus like it used to be back then. What's up, Spark? Anyone know if LDY will run a second production of the Vega? Who knows what LDY is doing at any time? LDY stuff is a fickle thing. All right, we have been going for 39 minutes now. My camera is still reading as half battery, but I'm not sure I totally believe it. So we probably got, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes left in the stream before it dies. I want to try and end the stream before it dies. We'll see how that goes. I love seeing so many Balisong YouTubers in the same space, man. It's cool. It's cool to go into live streams and see other content creators in there. I think that's kind of speaks more to the lack of general Balisong content that exists in this format. It seems like at any given moment, there's either 0 or 1 person doing a live stream rather than a whole bunch of different people for you to go watch. But that more speaks to the general size of the Balisong hobby, I guess, rather than content in general. Would you ever want to build and customize a replicant? I think if it was like back then I wanted to, yeah. But nowadays, I don't know if I super have the desire to do it just because it would be so expensive. And I feel like nowadays you can just buy a Balisong that flips to your preference for, you know, custom rep. You're looking at buying the actual rep and then buying all the hardware. It can be upwards of $500 and above, maybe even more. So at that point, I would rather just buy like a $200 Balisong than I enjoy flipping. But I also do really enjoy the idea of having this like one thing that you kind of built up yourself. Part of the reason I've been getting into cars, to be honest with you, because you can, you know, mix and match and throw stuff on it and make your upgrades and your repairs as needed. LDY are professionals at making the best stuff and then never making another run of them. Oh, but LDY only learned from the master, which is, why can't I think of their names? Holy cow. Why am I completely blanking on the Serpent Striker people? Oh my gosh. Max Ace, thank you. Holy cow, I genuinely, completely, and totally blanked on that one. Yeah, LDY is nothing in the eyes of the true exclusivity kings, and that's Max Ace. Max Ace makes maybe 50 of one thing and then disappears off the face of the planet. In fact, it feels like Max Ace's name only gets mentioned once every year or two when they actually release one of those Balisongs, and then everyone forgets about them again. Do you know why the squid industry's swordfish discontinued? I don't know the exact reason, but if I had to guess, I would say that sales maybe weren't the greatest. I personally wasn't a huge fan of the swordfish. I mean, if you want my actual educated answer, it's probably the fact that the Squiddy AL exists and people seem to enjoy it better than the swordfish. Like if you're looking for a like-on-like pinsless Balisong, chances are someone's going to recommend you the Squiddy Owl, and chances are they're not going to recommend the swordfish because the swordfish is like double the price. So that's my honest guess, but I genuinely, I don't know. Nabali's cat has been out for weeks and no one has made videos on it still. Nabali's hasn't reached out to me about it. I didn't jump on the bandwagon and purchase one because I wasn't sure if Nabali's was going to send me one. The last thing I want is to purchase a Balisong and then have the company reach out and see if I wanted to do a video on it. And by the time they actually did that, at least I think it was sold out. Maybe if it's still going, I'll pick one up because I am interested in seeing it, but at the same time, it does just kind of feel like it's going to be similar to the cheese. We'll see. I am sure that because the cat was made in collaboration with a YouTuber from overseas, I'm sure that they've made a video on it by now, but I don't think that video would be in English. So, I don't know, your mileage may vary. There's a video out there of someone flipping it at the very least. He said they discontinued it because it was too close to the Kraken. The swordfish is nothing like the Kraken. That's, I mean, by that logic, the squid trainer is more similar to the Kraken. But, I mean, if that's what he said. What do you think would be the best to be able to flip at school? You're not going to like my answer. I always tell people not to flip at school. Because I always hear stories of people saying, man, I wish I didn't flip at school. My teacher took my balisong away from me and it sucked so much. And it's probably best to keep something that's associated with weapons away from school grounds. That's just my take. I saw Will's Amazon video that there was a glider Moab X Meridian on the table. Do you have any impressions on it? I don't have any videos on it, but I like it. It's my favorite glider product that they've released to date, and I think it's definitely the most typical balisong style thing that they've released to date, which I really enjoy. I wanted to run out and get one, but I just haven't yet. Maybe I'll get one in the future. We'll see. But I do really like it. What are your thoughts on the winner of Create with Nabali's? The Crescent was cool. Create with Nabali's was a tough race. I think any one of those balisongs could have won. I personally was a Bobasong fan just because it looked... It was unique, but, and I mean, mostly because I really liked that green colorway that Dasuko made for it. But the Crescent is very cool. I'm excited for them to release it. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get one and check it out because I really like the Bird of Prey and the Reverie, even the Overlord, even though I don't have one. So all of them were deserving. I think it's great. You can flip a Balio in class. Sure, you can, but do you want to? Would you really want to do that? My answer would be no. Although I've said this in the last Flip the Script episode, I'm not someone who's like constantly dying to flip a balisong. If I have to go a few hours without flipping a balisong, I'm probably fine. So maybe if you're someone who just can't exist without one, the Balio would be good, but I think he meant it in the same way with the Triton getting discontinued. They have too many products in that area with the swordfish. The thing, and this was another thing that I said in the recent Flip the Script episode, the thing with the swordfish is that it's completely unique, not just in Squid's lineup, besides the Squiddy AL, but also in most of balisongs. You don't see a ton of like-on-like pinsless designs like that are all aluminum. So, I don't know, my first guess wouldn't be that they discontinued it because it was too similar to other things, because the swordfish was genuinely a unique balisong. I mean, it really pioneered the like-on-like pinsless designs in a way that previous balisongs had kind of failed to. Like, I'm not saying it's the first one to do it, but it was the first one to be pretty successful with it in terms of not having massive widespread complaints about handle gap or durability or any of that. Is that real? Is that a real butterfly knife? This one is a trainer. It's a slab of metal. It's not going to hurt me. But I do have real ones. This one's real. If that's what you're asking about. I mean, all balisongs, all butterfly knives are real, but this one is an actual blade. They're pretty cool. How are you doing that? Magic, my friend. No, really. So, basis of a balisong, you got two sides. You got the live side. This is the knife side. And you have the safe side. This side is completely dull. I can spin it around my finger and it won't cut me. Basically, all balisong tricks are manipulating the knife so that you either don't touch the blade or you touch the safe side. So every trick kind of has some way that you're supposed to do it without touching the blade. And it's just manipulating a knife in such a way that you're only ever touching that one side of the blade. What are the limits on the amount of balisongs you own? Are you just going to keep buying cases to keep them all there? Kind of approaching that. I'm kind of approaching having to answer that question currently because my cases are mostly full. I still have a few spaces, but as I kind of have more space in my actual room, I have places to put them. I have a few on display over here. I don't know. I think there will be a point where I don't buy balisongs anymore. But if a company wants to send it to me, I'll happily do it. Or if I get, like, I really need space. Thankfully, you know, balisongs aren't very space hoggy. You know, there's 40 something right there in this tiny little area. But if I ever truly need the space, I'd probably just do a lot of giveaways. I don't know. Sell a few. Have you had a chance to try a Nautilus Live? The Nautilus Live didn't impress me that much, but it's a good balisong. It's just kind of not my thing. Cheese. Yes, the cheese is good. Please just go watch my video on the cheese. Where do I sign up for the Seraph giveaway? Absolutely not. The Seraph is one of those forever balisongs. Especially the story behind it. The fact that Ted got it for me. The fact that the group of people, I guess I should say, got it for me is a really, really special thing. And I don't ever see myself getting rid of that in any way. Please do not... What is going on in chat? No, please don't steal your mom's credit card to get one. That's not very good. If you have to steal someone's credit card to buy a balisong, I don't think you should be buying a balisong in the first place, to be perfectly honest with you. Is it better than the Vault Pro? No, the cheese is not better than the Vault Pro. It's half the price of the Vault Pro. You had a chance to try the... I dropped that on my foot. Have you ever tried the Opus V2? Soon. Patience. Have you tried the Regime? The Regime I have. I tried it at a Blade Show. It was fun. When I first picked it up, kind of hated it. The weight was very strange and also kind of sucked. But the more that I flipped it over the weekend, I was surprised at how much I was enjoying it. More and more and more and more and more. I still wouldn't say I ever got to a point where I loved it, but I can see why someone would love it. You ever tried the Thomas Refault Bowie? I have. I made a video on it. Have you ever broken one of your balisong, your butterfly knives? I broke a 3D printed one that someone sent me. It was called like the small fly or the... You guys remember that little keychain one? It was like half transparent clear plastic, half kind of transparent green plastic. And the blade was like this bendable corkscrew. I did break that, and I actually broke it in a video. I was flipping it, talking about my final opinions on it, and then it just kind of snapped. So I sent the creator a message, and I was like, hey, I won't upload this, but you got some durability issues you should probably work out. Yeah, the little guy. That's around here somewhere. I've broken one of those. And I have a new one that they sent me as well. All right, we are coming up on the end of stream. I'm just going to double check 54 minutes, and my camera battery is still reporting that it's at half, which I don't totally believe, but we're gonna go for another like 10 minutes ish, and then we'll be out of it. Made a butterfly knife out of Legos. That's how a lot of people have gotten into it. I cannot say that that has been my experience, but there is definitely a lot of people who have said that that's how they've gotten into it, and I think that's kind of cool. Same day I get my second ever You Can Go Home Early from Work. I managed to catch another one of these. Actually fire. What's up, Bean? Glad that you made it. Any tips to help with sweaty hands while flipping? Sure. Any highlights of the stream that I missed? Just your typical random questions about beginner ballad songs and stuff like that. Totally off topic, but thoughts on the CS2 market crash? Obviously, I don't want to say that I'm happy that it happened, because I know a lot of people lost a lot of money, but if you're investing multiple thousands of dollars into pixels in a video game, I sort of have to imagine that you had to have thought at some point that was going to be a bad investment, right? I can't really describe how not financially literate you have to be in order to think that that was actually a totally good idea. I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, those knives should have never costed that much anyway. The people who lost most money on that were the top 1%. For the normal players, all the skins just became more available. That's kind of how I see it. It's like a few people lost. Dude, I've seen people be like, I sold my car for this and now it's worth nothing. And I'm just like, that sucks. But you had to have seen that coming at some point, right? But people are just, yeah, I'm glad that people are able to get those skins more availably. There's no reason to spend $5,000 on some game skin, in my eyes. You want to spend, $50, $100 on some other skin, whatever. But that $5,000 is a life-changing amount of money to a lot of people. Aiden from the yard. Wow. You actually clocked that. I have been waiting for them to talk about Aiden's car knife on the pod. Actually, when I went to pick up the racing sim, I listened to the yard basically the whole way. Who's spending $5 on Fortnite skins? No, thankfully not Fortnite. Although there's probably a story out there of some kid stealing their mom's credit card to spend that much on Fortnite skins. We're talking about CSGO. Is Lovely Legacy gone now, or do we just not get to vote for it anymore? It is not gone. It is being handled behind closed doors. You will get to vote on Lovely Legacy, but you guys no longer get to nominate Lovely Legacy. I have been very unhappy, as have a lot of the community, with the results of Lovely Legacy in previous years. It's just kind of missing the point with the community nominating for it. So I'm handling nominations along with a few friends behind the scenes, and then you guys will get to vote on it when voting goes live. Fingers crossed, hopefully don't hold your breath sometime next week. What will Den Den have to be mad about now? Well, Den Den's a part of it, so we're going to see how it goes. I'll finalize that, and you guys will still get to vote on it, but the 4 options that you'll be voting on will be not decided by you guys. It'll be the one thing in the Bally Awards that's kind of less community focused, because the whole idea of Lovely Legacy is to create a kind of Hall of Fame, and the fact that the Prisma Pro, as much as I love it, was inducted into a Hall of Fame before anything that started this hobby as we know it was a little shaky. Are you going to be live tomorrow? No, no. Don't hold your breath on me being live tomorrow. Tricks, do you recommend I can combo the behind the 8 ball and that's about it? I would just keep trying to string more and more tricks together. Maybe if you're doing the behind the 8 ball into the helix, maybe you're doing an index rollover when you get out of it. And then maybe like a whip rollover. And then you can throw an aerial. And that's kind of a full combo right there. Yeah, Den's still around. He's just not making videos. He's found way more success and enjoyment, at least from what I understand, with the stuff that he's doing on his channel now, which is super cool. Any thoughts on the Dow? I don't know what the Dow trainer blade is for the Vulp. I just focus on having fun in this hobby. Yeah, I think a lot of people would benefit from having that mindset about it. If you've tried a TI Wraith, would you say it's similar to the Stitch? I probably wouldn't. From what I remember, the TI Wraith was a little bit more handle biased, but I'm not going to say it's like the opposite Balisong. I don't know. Live bias. True, but not for much longer. We have, I believe, officially hit the 1 hour mark. So, I will answer a few more questions, but I'm going to say goodbye now. If the stream randomly dies, there goes my camera. It's not going to come back. That'll be it. We'll end stream. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep on flipping, all that stuff. So I'll say that outro now just in case, but I'll try and do an actual proper outro after a few more questions. W stream. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'll try and do these maybe a little more often, but I wouldn't really see it becoming like a weekly thing. This really kind of just exists more as like a, hey, it's been a while since I've answered some questions. Let's get it going again. What's your best Balisong? My best Balisong? The Seraph. I keep dropping this thing. Advance, thanks for streaming. You're welcome, Bean. Appreciate you. Do you like the Stitch more than the Gauze? I think I like the Gauze a little bit more than the Stitch. I really liked my time with the Gauze. The Gauze was really fun. And I actually miss it quite a bit. What do you use the most? Anything that's sitting on my desk and available to me. So lately that's been the Astra, the Stitch, and what was the other thing that was sitting here? The Kraken Trainer. But really, basically, whatever I have left out and is easily accessible, I will pick up and flip most of the time. It's kind of why the cases kind of suck, because it means you just kind of close away your collection and not forget about it, but, you know, kind of forget about it in the sense that it doesn't come to your mind when you're like, hey, I want to flip something. But I'll start cleaning up a little bit. I'll leave those 4 out, I guess. Let's finish up. Keep most of my knives displayed. Yeah, I keep some knives displayed. I don't really know the thought behind some of the displays. I've got the Impulse here. I've got the Tay Flipper, the Fire and Ice Arctic, and then the Damascus Kraken. I don't know what compelled me to display those 4 specifically, and what compelled me to not have a 5th on that stand, but that's kind of it. That's kind of how it is. I'm in the Discord now. Hey, happy to have you. Discord's linked in the description as usual, folks. If you want to join. Yeah, the Kraken trainer is amazing for consistency. That's what I really, really love it for. But unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to cut it short here, guys, before my camera dies. Thank you all so much for coming to another Blade Bias Live. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate all of you giving me your questions, sticking around till the end here. We'll try and do these a little bit more than once a year, but I don't know what the true consistency is going to be until I see you guys in tomorrow's video, if there is a tomorrow's video. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Flip some good ballad songs, make some good choices, and be kind to each other most importantly. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.